Hello, everyone. This is Mike Feldbauer from the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation. Hope, helping our participants excel. Coming to you today from the Flagler Boys podcast studio here in Palm Coast. And I have a very special guest with me today. So if you stand by, we will be right back with you. Well, we're back with you. And today, my special guest is the lady that joined the Drug Court Foundation membership group. We're thinking between about a year and a half or 2 years ago. Her name is Monique Meyer, and she has a story to tell. So, Monique, you're on.
Hi, my name's Monique. I lost my brother, Randall Matthew Nuss, in 2003 to an accidental Oxycontin overdose. He took one pill, and that was it. We got the phone call, and he was gone. We never saw it coming. He didn't even go out of the house for the last 4 months of his life. He had a car. He didn't drive. He had just graduated high school. He had a job. Got his first job down in Daytona Beach. And he was working down there. And he called my dad and said, "Dad, it's really late. I'm tired. I'm going to stay down here tonight." And my dad said, "Okay." And then my dad got a phone call the next morning. They didn't even come to his office. He owned Remax Realty in Palm Coast. And they didn't even send anybody to tell my dad. They called them up on the phone and they told them over the telephone. And my dad was alone because my mom and I were away camping in Claremont, Florida. And my husband called me. He kept calling me. And I didn't know why. And he said, "You need to call your father." I said, "Why? What's wrong?" He said, "Just call your father right now." And he hung up on me. And I called my father because he knew I was with my mother. And he said, "Randy's gone." And I said, "What?" He said, "Randy's gone." I said, "He can't be." And he broke down crying on the phone. And he said, "He's dead." And he can't tell mommy. I got to tell mommy. And it was really hard. I had to tell my mom in a parking lot outside a futon store. We couldn't even drive back to Palm Coast. We had to leave our camper and our cars, and we had somebody from Fort Myers come pick us up and drive us back to Palm Coast because we couldn't even drive. We had no clue what happened. It was horrible. And ever since then, I've been doing whatever I can do to help in the community, to help outside the community. I go to different places. I go all over Florida. I go to different states. I go to Washington, D.C. every year and do the march to the White House for the fentanyl awareness. The drugs are just so bad that are out there. I just want to help someone. If I could help one person, I would be happy. And that's all I want to do. I just want to help so nobody's family has to go through this. It's a horrible thing to go through, and it rips the family apart. And it ripped our family apart. I had 3 kids that were brothers and sisters to my little brother because they were so close in age. And my mom and dad wouldn't even go to their graduations. My one son looks exactly like my little brother. And every time they looked at him, he was only 12 when my brother passed away. Every time they looked at him, they burst into tears. They couldn't even be around him. And that was horrible to put a 12-year-old through. But they didn't know that. It tore us apart. It ripped us apart. I did a lot of investigation and stooped to different levels. to try to find out what happened to my brother. I went down to Daytona Beach and did a lot of investigation. I found out a lot of information. I had found out that my brother, exactly where he brought the OxyContin from, somebody's mother in a Burger King parking lot in Sanford, Florida. That's who, somebody's mother gave this pill to my brother. A mother. Unbelievable. And I called the detective up to give him information, Detective Randy Doyle. And he told me he didn't want to hear it. He says, your brother is nothing but a drug addict.
Mm.
The audacity of him to tell me that. He didn't even know my brother. They wouldn't even let my dad in to see him. Nobody identified him. My brother was being cremated, and nobody identified his body. My daughter drove the same exact car that my brother had, and every time it drove up to the house, we thought my brother was coming home because nobody saw his body yet. And finally, we went. My father was such a mess. My father wanted him laid on a table. He didn't even want him in a coffin. It was just, it was so devastating. So devastating. And then to have somebody tell me he was nothing but a drug addict, and he didn't even go out the last 4 months, to the last 4 months of his life. He never had a chance. He took one pill.
Well, I can say at this point, you've brought out a point that is so important for people that are listening to this broadcast and others that we do here on the road to recovery, that you can be part of the solution or you can be part of the problem. And our community has to understand that they're either part of the problem or part of the solution. And the easy part of being part of the solution is to change your attitude. 12 years I've been doing this work in recovery, and I've never met one person that was an addict that wanted to be there.
Yes.
You know, I can tell you in the beginning when I first got involved, I didn't understand a lot of this. But 90% or more of the people that are involved with substance use have had trauma in their life, and they're covering pain. Some of them have had medical issues done, and the doctors in the medical field didn't follow up to keep them from continuing on it, changing what it was so they don't stay on those drugs. Any number of reasons. Some of it is just pressure from outsiders, whatever, and thinking that I won't get hurt. I won't, we all have that attitude that I'm stronger than it. And it's not. Because we know that substance abuse genetically can go up to 7 generations forward. And we don't know. It doesn't mean it hits everybody in that 7 generations, but you don't know if you're one of those unless you understand that somebody in prior to you was involved with that. And, so there's so much lack of education to our community. So if the community wants to be a big part of helping, what they need to do is understand the people that are subject to substance abuse, that are hooked on something, okay, they are not that junkie. They are not just that drug addict. They are not in that Hollywood movie in the back alleys of New York, Chicago, LA. No, they're in every neighborhood. Every neighborhood. There is no boundaries that the drugs have. They go over the fences. They go through the gated communities. There's nothing stopping it except we can be a big part of it by changing our attitude and helping those that want to be helped. And some of that help is just not calling them. What you said that officer did, not taking that attitude. And I've got to commend you and a couple of other members of our team that have gone through and have lost members of their family, very close members of their family, that have now dedicated their lives to helping other people not have to go through what you went through. Because it's obviously obvious the effect it's had on you and your family. So I praise you and thank you for what you've been doing.
My stepson lost his mother on Mother's Day a year after my brother passed from OxyContin. So it's in the it's I know a lot of family members who have passed away from it. I know a lot of people who have passed away from it, and it's sad the amount. I think I know more people that have passed away from the drug than I have friends. It's sad. It's
Yes, it
very
is.
sad.
Yep, it is. And today, the unintentional, as you were talking about, the unintentional overdoses, they're putting this fentanyl in everything. And
Yes.
if you don't realize, you shouldn't take anything, even from your best friend, unless you knew for sure where it came from, because they might not know, and they're sharing something with you, and the next thing you know is that you're dead. You know, Flagler County, as beautiful as it is, okay, most of our heads are in the sand, if you
Yes.
get what I'm saying. You know, up to about a year or so ago, Flagler County had been between the second and 10th highest overdose county in the state of Florida based on population. And one of those years, we were the number one death county based on population. Okay. We need to do more in our community. We need to educate more. And that's part of what the Drug Court Foundation now does. Even though we started initially just to help people in the drug court program, which we still do, is it's still primary function, but now educating the community on what it's really all about. When we were the first to get the grant to give free Narcan away, that brought us into a different area to now we're out educating our community. And you know, the team itself got Narcan in all the Flagler schools now. Thank God it took a long time, and we're working on a couple other projects. I've got meetings coming up with some of our county officials to see what more we can do. Then the team will get out there and actually do the work. Yeah, and we need so much. We really do. I tell people, you know, being involved with recovery is like being bipolar, because you get really happy when you see it working, and then you get that phone call, and it brings you right down. Well, we're trying to reduce the amount of that roller coaster ride and flatten it out a little bit. We're honest and we understand it. We'll never make it totally, but we're not giving up. And like you said, the just one, that was the theme of the behavioral health conference in Orlando a couple of years ago, that we go to get educated and help us help others. Just one, because that just one multiplies.
Yes.
When we see somebody who's been successful in coming into recovery and they're out now bringing their word and what they did and showing people you can do it, that one turns into two, and it turns into more. And we're all got to be part of that. So, yes, we got to go for it. Now, I know that you also brought something very special that you wanted to let people hear,
Yes.
and it was a poem and a song.
I wrote a poem after my brother passed away, and I had a man named Christopher Cramner from Nine Lives. Nine Lives is his name of his group. Wrote a song. He played my poem in the beginning, and he wrote a song about the Sackler family in Purdue Pharma. And I'm in the song. My mom's in the song. Talks about my brother Randy in the song, and I would like to play that.
Okay. Well, this is going to be something cool, everybody. But it's not happy. So listen up. We're trying something a little new right now, and it's going to come up and.
Oh, Randy, Randy, how could this be? The good Lord took you away from me. You were more to me than a baby brother. I was like your second mother. It's so hard for me to understand. I don't know if I can live without you, man. I guess it was just your time. I don't know how I'll ever be fine. If it wasn't for Purdue, I would still have you. If only Purdue could understand that money isn't the only thing at hand. If Purdue would take the time to care, they would make OxyContin for severe pain, and that would be fair. My heart is broken and it will never be repaired until the day we reunite and I see you waiting in the light. I miss the smile on your face. I can't wait to see it again, to fill this empty space. I love you and miss you so much. I can't wait until that happy day when I feel your touch. Sister Monique. think it's okay to keep on doing this. Writing these prescriptions and they're brainwashing kids. Try to get you hooked, then they get you in the grips. Now they got you feeling without it, you can't live. I was doing anything to try to get my fix. If I'm counting money, they don't look at the effects. The life that it changed and the damage that it did. Do you think the Sackler family really gives a shit? Labeled the most evil family in America. The government step back, let them legally deal drugs. The oxy era move fast like a flash flood, changing people's life even to at least son. Monique was his sister and she'll never get him back. Writing these prescriptions and they serving them as snacks. Oh, you stuck the Joel and the oxy fixes that. Back in '05, it got really out of hand. Screaming for the blues, they were such a high demand. They let them hit the market and they never had a plan. They said they're not addicted when they put them in our hands. They doubled in the dose every time I came back. So much of my life I will never get back. This affected millions while they sat back making trillions. The Sacklers are the ones that really started this. They downplayed the issue, yeah, I'm blaming them for this. Think it's okay to keep on doing this. Writing these prescriptions and they brainwashing kids. Try to get you hooked, then they get you in the grips. Now they got you feeling without it, you can't live. I was doing anything to try to get my fix. If I'm counting money, they don't look at the effects. The life that it changed and the damage that it did. Do you think the Sackler family really gives a shit? I was 18, I was popping 10 a day. Since it was prescribed, I thought it was okay. What do I know? I was still just a kid. Didn't know that my life would come to a skid. All my dreams that I wanted came to a halt. Was I who to blame or was it all their fault? I started popping pills to try to get back on the field. Baseball was my life, but my shoulder wasn't healed. Then I broke my back and then they gave me more pills. Almost for a year I popped a pill to try to live. Nothing to the world, I was led to the slaughter. Tried to go without it, but it made my life harder. Basically depending on the pill to get by. If I missed the dose, then I felt like I would die. I couldn't go to work until I popped a couple blues. Had me doing things I never thought that I would do. Think it's okay to keep on doing this. Writing these prescriptions and they brainwashing kids. Try to get you hooked, then they get you in the grips. Now they got you feeling without it, you can't live. I was doing anything to try to get my fix. If I'm counting money, they don't look at the effects. The life that it changed and the damage that it did. Do you think the Sackler family really gives a shit? Really gives a shit?
Thank you, Monique, for doing that. I know it's very difficult.
I'm trying to turn it off.
That's okay. I know it's going to be extremely difficult for you to even listen to that, but how important it is, and nice of that group to put that together for you and understand they actually gave you that song. You have the full rights to it.
Yes.
And if people would just spend a couple of minutes and listen to it, it's saying what's out there. You know, today is a real shame that it is certainly the love of money that's doing us all in. Okay. There's just so much going on that just it's all financially based, and they take the risk assessment and they say, okay, well, it'll only kill this amount of people. We're going to make that much more anyway, so it's okay. They've gone away from the 50s and 60s and early 70s, where companies were more careful about taking care of their customers than they are today. They took care of their customers, and their customers then took care of them, and the bottom lines kept growing. But when you focus on the bottom line and you don't care about your customers, you just care about the sales, yeah, I'm sorry. You know, I've seen it. I still see it.
This is what I have left of my brother. This is my brother in here.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I carry around with me and remind me how serious the drugs are and how much I want to help people and do whatever I can to help. There's so much more out there to do. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to figure it out.
And we hope that you continue to be with us in helping what we do. We've got a lot more to do. Our goals are a little higher than they are now. It just takes a little time, more people, more money to get it done. But we are growing, and we're growing in the area of educating our community and trying to reduce what you've gone through. I wish I could say we could eliminate it, but history and time says you're not going to eliminate it, but we can reduce it. We can get more people aware of what's going on. And if Flagler County would make a decision and I'm not just talking about the government, I'm talking about the residents of Flagler County would make a decision that our people are more important than our median divides on the road, we could get there a lot quicker.
Yes.
Okay, and it doesn't take a lot. First, change an attitude, get an understanding, get educated. What's going on and what's causing these issues? That'd be a big help. And if anybody wants to get more information on that, please contact us, the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation. You can contact me directly at mfeldbauer, that's F as in Frank, ELDBAUER @gmail.com. And my phone number is 401-864-6997. We're down at Flagler Beach at First Friday every month. You can come visit us at the booth. You can come down and actually meet Monique and her husband Bill, who's sitting out in the lobby now. You go talk to them. We have another family that's going through something similar who lost a daughter. Okay? They have dedicated their lives, again, to try to help people not go through what they've gone through. So there are folks out there wanting to help. The key is if the people that we want to help have to want the help, and when they decide they want the help, we're here. But for the education part, it's up to the community to get themselves involved in learning. Whether you come out and do anything physically, it's not the first thing. You have to get educated on what's happening. Because the other fact is that you'll very rarely come across anybody that hasn't had a good friend or a member of their family affected by substance abuse, whether it's alcohol or drugs, or it could be other addictions. It can be gambling. Okay, it could be any number of things. But there's almost nobody. In the world of recovery, the national statistics say that an average of 10% of your population is in recovery. So that means right now in Flagler County is somewhere around 12,000 people are involved in recovery right now. Okay? People don't want to acknowledge that. 10% of any one group is a large percentage.
Yes.
Okay? So they're involved. We have 13,000 veterans in our community that are having, half of them or even a larger amount are having to process their PTSD. We help them out. We supply the Narcan to most of the veterans groups around. So please, get involved. Come on down, talk to us face to face. Meet us, meet the team. The team is going to be involved with people that have been through the drug court program that are now still helping us and can talk to you about how important that program has been to help them in the recovery. Others that have been in other parts of recovery, other avenues, will talk to you about that. Parents, family members like Monique here, to talk to you about what they went through and why they want to help you not go through that issue. So, you got any closing words?
God bless everyone out there fighting.
Thank you very much. So once again, Mike Feldbauer from the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation will be signing off for the day, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.